Honorable Men Discord. The grass is not greener. Let's talk about it. So, for those of you that don't know, 50 Cent recently trolled Little Meech on his IG page. And the image to my side is an image of Little Meech, who appears to be unconscious, or just, I don't know if he's sleeping. But there's some images that 50 Cent posted, because during this whole situation where Big Meech decided to link up with Rick Ross, 50 Cent decided to cut his ties with both Big Meech and Little Meech, and it seems as though he plans to cancel the BMF series. But this is not about 50 Cent. This is not about the BMF series. This is not even about Big Meech. This is about the celebration of seeing someone that's young, possibly at a hospital for treatment. Now, 50 Cent, while this separation, you can say, was going on, 50 Cent did vocalize at some point in time that Little Meech struggled with addiction, right? So when this image came out, when he got a hold of this image, 50 Cent decided to celebrate it and make fun of the situation. Now, he also, along with the images, played the song by Amy Winehouse, who happened to pass away from an overdose. He played her song Rehab whilst these images were posted, right? Let me see if I could. I don't think I could slide over so you can see the other pictures. But 50 Cent put in his caption, he put, "Damn, this is bad. You believe me now? Now you want to believe me." Right? And I won't read the rest because that's 50 Cent doing 50 Cent trolling. But the importance of me highlighting this image of Little Meech is just to emphasize the fact that we are all humans. It doesn't matter if we're well off or appear to be well off or we're poor. We're all capable of being in situations where we're not at our best. All right. And although we strive for greatness, we strive for success, we all can succumb to whatever internal demons we're dealing with. I personally do not support this whole campaign to make fun of Little Meech. But again, I'm trying not to make this about 50 Cent. 50 Cent is going to be 50 Cent. He is who he is, and this is not the episode about him. This is just to point out that sometimes we look at some certain celebrities that are out there in entertainment, and we look at them a little bit with envy. We look at them as the goal, and we think that the grass is greener on the other side. But again, the point that I'm trying to make with this episode is that sometimes what appears to be better is actually not better. Now, I know it's hard to comprehend that if you're struggling, because when you're struggling, all you could think about is, how do I get out of this state of struggling? And then when you see images on Instagram, TikTok, or any other social media platform, you start to think, that's the goal. That's where I need to be. All right. I myself, at times, have found myself with that mindset. But I'm here to let you all know that the reality of it is that everyone suffers from this. Money does not stop you from suffering from certain ills that happens in life. Money's not going to free you of that. Sometimes, if anything, money just escalates it, right? Money sometimes catapults it even further. So if you had an addiction to alcohol when you were broke, when you come across more money, you end up indulging in more alcohol, right? Because now you have access to the alcohol. Same thing for any drug. You know, when you don't have money, when you start indulging in drugs, you indulge in the drugs only at the rate that you could afford to indulge in the drugs. But the more money that comes in, you're going to indulge in more and more drugs. You're going to experiment with more drugs. And this goes for especially depending on the social circles that you're in. You know, the more parties you'll go to and be exposed to different types of drugs. And sometimes the drugs, when you go to certain parties and events, the drugs are right at your disposal for free. You don't even have to pay for it. So when I see images like this is not something that I find funny at all. It's not something I celebrate, because images like this just make me reflect on those that have passed on because of an addiction, right? And I just jotted down some things that I wanted to make sure I didn't miss. So as far as celebrities that have gone by who have passed away from drug abuse, you have Whitney Houston, you have DMX, Young Dro, Pimp C, Amy Winehouse. All right. And then you have celebrities that are still with us that are publicly on social media platforms, and you can tell that they're high. All right. So you have Kodak Black, who I'm very concerned with his condition. And I hope there's people in his circle that are actually trying to get a handle of it for him, because he doesn't seem like he has control over it. And it's very concerning. Even in his recent video, I don't know the name of the song, but he's not looking well, right? Then you have Birdman, who was recently on tour with Cash Money, and he dozed off in the middle of the stage. And, you know, you could see BG trying to wake him up whilst he's just standing there frozen in his place. These things aren't funny. But again, maybe sometimes it's necessary for people to see these things to understand that, you know, these people who are out there making money and quote unquote successful are not always, they don't always have it all together. And unfortunately for us, we live in a world where we think the images we see are law. We think that's the goal. Every time you slide on TikTok or Instagram, you see images of what appears to be successful people, what appears to be people that are happy. But we don't know their backstory. We don't know what their lives are like when the camera phone is off, right? And this image of Little Meech is not good. And let's be for real, as an outsider looking at that whole entire situation with Little Meech, Big Meech, and 50 Cent, you could only assume that he's hurt by the fact that he no longer has a series to report to. I believe he was really enjoying his role on BMF. And now that was taken away from him, it's really hitting him hard. Now, 50 Cent mentioned he had an addiction, so I don't know if this addiction was all throughout the series. It's possible, but I can only imagine how much more it escalated once 50 Cent decided he wasn't going to have Little Meech on the series anymore, you know? So again, the whole purpose of this video is just to point out the fact that the grass is not green on the other side. And for those of you that's never heard that saying, that's a very old saying that I learned about when I was younger coming up. And it's always stuck with me because it's one of those things that just help you recalibrate your thoughts when you start thinking you're missing out on something. But I have some things queued up that I wanted to play, so let's get into it. This is Minister Louis Farrakhan speaking on The Grass is Not Greener. Let's get into it.
Everybody looks good because you don't know them. But we are like pieces of wood cut out of the same pile. And whatever you find wrong in one, I bet you it's in the other to one degree or another. We have similar problems. Everybody looks
play that
good
again
because you don't know them. But we are like pieces of wood cut out of the same pile. And whatever you find wrong in one, I bet you it's in the other to one degree or another. We have similar problems.
So I'm going to stop that there. So, yes, as the minister just mentioned, we all have similar problems, and the problems that we share has nothing to do with how much is in our bank account, all right, or what kind of car we drive, or what kind of clothes we're wearing, all right. Quote unquote success doesn't stop us from being subjected to those things. And I have a few things listed that we're all subjected to, regardless of our financial status or our lack of fame or resources. All right. Some of the things that all humans are subjected to is illnesses, death, tragedy, heartbreaks, depression, uncertainty, fear, unhappiness. And by all means, if you disagree with anything that I just mentioned, I'll see you in the comments. All right. You would think someone who, and I'm speaking on Little Meech, someone who has six-figure dollars worth of chains around his neck, because you've seen his big BMF chain with the piece that says BMF with diamonds. And I believe Tony Ayo in a DJ Vlad interview had mentioned the fact that he spent a lot on some designer jeans. I forget the name of it. I don't keep up with these things because I can't afford it. But he was wearing some type of extremely expensive jeans. You would think the person that owns those things is successful and happy. But that's not always the case. But again, oftentimes in social media, we'll see these people, and this is not just targeted to Little Meech. You know, this applies to entertainment as a whole. You see a lot of imagery that tries to appeal to those that don't have, and the images that are out there is trying to show people that, listen, hey, this is what success and happiness looks like. But many a times the people that are projecting these images are not happy, or they're struggling with some type of addiction, or they're going through something. There's no reason why Little Meech should be on a wheelchair like this with his eyes closed. But let's continue. There's something else I have queued up I want to play.
I've been thinking about grass. Hear me out. I'll never forget the day I was talking to a friend about the grass being greener on the other side. And he said something that stuck with me. He said, no, actually, sometimes the grass is greener where you water it. So instead of searching for something that you don't have, focus on what's right in front of you and nurture it. Because sometimes the grass is greener where you water it.
I completely agree with it. I completely agree with that, I should say. So yeah, sometimes we tend to, because we're constantly looking at our phones, we look at these images of what we think success looks like. But sometimes we need to look within, or should I say, look at ourselves in the mirror, and sometimes just take out some time for ourselves and say to ourselves, no, I don't have many of the things I see on social media, but what do I have? When's the last time you took time out to say to yourself, well, I have a roof over my head. I have plenty of clothes, tons of sneakers. I'll be honest with you, I have some sneakers that I haven't worn in years. I have a bunch of sneakers in shoe boxes and inside of garbage bags, and I don't even wear half of the sneakers. And I continue to buy sneakers, I must confess. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is many times we see what other people have and we say, oh, I don't have that, or I don't have enough of something else, when there's someone somewhere in the world that would be just happy with one brand new pair of sneakers. Meanwhile, I have a bunch of sneakers, again, in shoe boxes and garbage bags that I don't even wear. All right. So, you're always going to find something that you lack and assume that if you get that thing, you're going to be better off. But the truth of the matter is the grass is not greener, right? And that's just a fact. But that's one of those things that everyone as individuals have to experience and realize and come to terms with on their own. All right. And another thing about this world that we live in is it's this constant, especially here in the United States, for those that live in the United States, and the marketing that we constantly are subjected to, we start to feel like things that we own are outdated, and it was intentionally made that way. From the iPhones that we use, for those of you who have iPhones, iPhones are updated every year. So you buy that item at the top of the year, the brand new iPhone, the brand new laptop, right? And then by the end of the year, they're already starting to promote and market the new iPhone, the new laptop, right? So you're constantly in this whirlwind of feeling like, oh man, I don't have the new thing. So you feel like you're behind with something, like you're not a part of what's great, which is the new product that came out. We really have to be careful with the images that we watch on social media, because it perpetuates that thought of the grass being greener on the other side. If I just get that new vehicle. They do the same thing with vehicles, right? You buy a car, you're so happy that you got this new car, you feel accomplished, and then by the next year, sometimes with cars it's a little bit they move. It's not as the same as with the cell phones and the laptops. With cars, sometimes depending on the model of the car, sometimes they keep the same body type, so it's not always the same with cars, but it still applies with vehicles also, because although they may not change the body style right away, they generally change body styles maybe within 2 to 3 years, right? And you're making payments on that new car that you just got, and within 2 to 3 years there's another model out, and then you start feeling like, oh man, I need the new model because this is the old model. The grass is not green on the other side, folks. We need to start to realize the things that we do have and be grateful for the things that we do have. But let me get into this last thing I have queued up.
I have never wanted fame. I have never wanted to be known and not have something to show. I told God that if I'm going to be famous...
By the way, before I continue this clip that I'm concluding with, this is like the mantra to this channel, all right? When I did the video months ago about Big Meech, I remember there was someone in the comment that told me, who is this guy? He just wants to be famous, right? Which is far from the truth. The last thing I want is fame. And I say that wholeheartedly. I do not want fame. Do I want to be successful? Yes. Because as I mentioned a few months back, I would like to not have to do a 9-to-5. That's the ultimate goal. I don't want to do a 9-to-5. I don't want the restrictions of a 9-to-5. I don't want the restrictions of having to answer to someone. So for that reason, yes, I want to be successful, but I don't want to be famous. So when I came across this clip, I was like, this guy nailed it. This sounds like my mantra. All right, but I'm gonna let him continue.
Without having substance, I don't want it. Give me substance. Fame is an addition. I've seen what fame has done to people. I don't want to be famous. So when people are out there, it's like, oh, he's posting all these property videos because he wants to be famous. Bro, I don't want to be famous. I want to have substance. I want to share wisdom. I want to tell people that you can come from the darkest place on earth and you can survive it and you can make it.
I agree. You can make it. And I definitely want to be able to show that with this channel. And I can only hope that this channel continues to grow. But it's not for the sake of fame. It's also to show others that as long as you remain consistent and you believe in yourself, you can make something of yourself, right? And that would be the reason. That's what fuels me. But it's not for fame. I could care less about fame because I've mentioned this before also on previous videos. I could care less about fame because I like my privacy. I know that seems like hard to believe because it's like, oh, you do episodes, your face is out there, but I could care less about people recognizing my face. I like my privacy. When I go outside, I don't want to think about anybody running up to me, when I'm just trying to have some quiet time, enjoying nature or enjoying a walk or, anything like that. So it's not about fame, but this is not about me. I just wanted to get that out there. But again, in conclusion, I don't celebrate the mocking of seeing Little Meech in this state. You know, I wish Little Meech nothing but the best, health wise and financially. And same thing for Kodak Black. You know, I wish Kodak Black nothing but the best with his health. I wish Birdman nothing but the best with his health. And anyone who secretly has an addiction that's out there in entertainment or in social media, and they're portraying a lifestyle as if they're happy and if they're well, because wellness has nothing to do with the outfit that you're wearing, the designer outfit. It has nothing to do with how many big chains you have with diamonds and the expensive watches around your wrist. That has nothing to do with wellness. It's just images. That's all it is. Because at the end of the day, when you take that camera phone off and you're alone by yourself, only you know if you're well, if you're mentally well, right? So I hope this resonated with some of you that's watching. I hope it makes sense. And by all means, please share this video with anyone who you feel this is beneficial to. And as always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.